And so, beloved woman, we will close the circle. And we call the East the places of the mind, the places of air, and certainly in these times, the clarity of the mind and a good fresh breath of air would be very important for everyone. We call the South the places of love and nurturance, the warmth of the heart. We call the West the places of water, of emotions, of feelings, and we call the North the places of Mother Gaia, the Great Bear, the teacher, the fox, and the spirit candle binds them all together. And so the petitions, and as these petitions are burning, we ask that the smoke rises to Father God and Mother Earth, and the blessings are upon all who have asked and who are willing to receive. We call the elements the fire, the air, the earth, the water, and so the circle is closed. Dearly beloved masters, this is a very powerful new moon. After the new moon at the end of August, that marked the very beginning of the sign of Virgo, and it began to bring attention more and more to the affairs of health. And now that was a solar eclipse, and now we have on this evening a lunar eclipse. And it is that the lunar eclipse is a time of going within. The new moon is going within energy, but the lunar eclipse calls attention to the moon and her essence as she is in the shadow of the earth. This marks, if you would, not the ending of a focus on health and well-being, but a magnification, an amplification of the energy of wholeness, of well-being, mentally, physically, emotionally. And the more centered and connected that you are within yourself, the easier it is to experience the balances, to feel within your physical body and actually know, not intellectually, I think something's wrong or everything's right, but the feeling of connecting with yourself so that you experience a true knowing, a powerful knowing from the inside out, a time of really getting to know, and how do I really feel about things? How do I feel about myself? How do I feel about what's going on in the world, how I feel about the people in my life, in my community, in my state, in my country, feeling the truth, the pure understanding of self within. This new moon occurs at 29 degrees, 17 minutes of Virgo, and it sits in opposition to Saturn in the sign of Pisces, which has recently moved into that sign a retrograde time, so that the things that have been, shall we say, unattended to can be considered, can be met, can be dealt with. Neptune sits conjunct the Saturn in Pisces, but Neptune is still hovering in that very first degree of Aries. It is the axis of the world, and it is that marks new beginnings. So the endings of old ways, and everywhere you turn in life now, something else is moving and changing. Someone has different ideas, and things are thrown askance. It is up to each one to make your own choices, to feel your own way. It is vital for each individual, no matter what, to make their own choice. For humanity is lived in a state of consideration of everyone else's thoughts and ideas except their own. There are those who are free thinkers, free will, and they are really clear about what they think. But the majority of people on the planet are not clear about the choices they would make. Perhaps in some areas of their life, they would be clear. But in most places, they want to go out and take a poll. Well, now, what do you think I should do about this? And how do you feel that I should be with this? And it is time for each one to turn within, to discover your spiritual connection, so that you can ask within, get a good feeling about what you're going to create. And dearly beloved masters, just because you go within and you ponder about the choice you have to make, and you get a clear answer, but you don't like the answer. It doesn't feel like what you want to do. So, dearly beloved masters, just because you don't like the answer does not mean that that is not the answer or even the best answer. Because in these times, so many of the choices that you are making are difficult choices, choices that you have not wanted to make, some of them through lifetimes. So, in this point of delicate balance, this new moon eclipse that is sitting on the global axis, and it's calling for a balance of the outer physical and the inner mystical. Feel that within yourself. It is that as your birthday might occur around the 20th, 21st, or 22nd of September, then this particular equinox will quite frequently fall on your birthday. But this year, it is, you might say, challenging everyone to get well. Not just get healthy, but get well, well within yourself, to be well with you. It isn't about trying to get well with a planet that is in chaos, but it is vital that each and every one get well, get in alignment, feel sweetly centered within themselves. And many are releasing old issues, old challenges, old laws or judgments that they've carried for lifetimes. And it feels nauseous. It feels heavy. It feels unsettled. And it definitely affects, influences the inner spaces, your physical body. And since Virgo is very connected with the stomach, then more and more people may be experiencing a delicate digestive system because Virgo looks for purity. It looks for a harmonious inside connection. So, dearly beloved masters, this is a powerful, challenging situation. The planet Uranus sits in a sextile to the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, and it sits in a trine to Pluto. Neptune, or rather, Uranus is in the sign of Gemini, Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, and the new moon is just on the edge. Tomorrow, it will be in Libra. So there is a grand trine of air energy. It can encourage communication. And certainly it might appear, if you're listening to the news at all, that everyone has an opinion and they're all attempting to express them at one time. And so the thoughts, the ideas, the opportunity to be creative with getting your understanding of things out there is certainly supported. It is a time of really considering carefully. I want to say what I believe, but I require to say it in a way that as I speak it, it comes from my heart. As I speak it, I am not saying the words in defiance or in diminishment of other people. I am simply expressing the strength of how I understand myself in this time, in this world. Everyone has an absolute right to opinion. And when we say everyone has a right to opinion, we mean exactly that. We do not mean that we say everyone has a right to an opinion as long as their opinion concurs with mine. We are saying every individual has a right to their own ideas. But there is about 180 degrees between the truth, which is not broken into 8 billion pieces, and opinions that are plentiful and quite frequently unique. But they are opinions, judgments, belief systems, ideas, but not necessarily anchored within self. Jupiter, justice, sits in a square to Mars. Jupiter at 21 degrees, 17 minutes of Cancer, and Mars at 29 degrees, 46 minutes of Libra. So it's ending another planet at the end of the sign, marking old things passing and new things coming to be. It is that in this beautiful occurrence, the planet Venus, even though it is very early in the beginning of the sign of Virgo, is not making an exact aspect with anything in the chart. So it is in isolation. An isolated Venus says, I love, I desire, I dream, I create, but I can't necessarily feel it. So you can see in the outer world at this point in time how many people are literally divorced from feeling the outcome of their actions and the effect, the influence on other people. The challenge of these times is being with yourself, being with you. For you've spent lifetimes leaving you to go out into the world, to earn a living, to assert your ideas, to find someone to partner with, whether it's business or personal. But now, all of these new beginnings, this challenge to start in a new direction with yourself, to really consider your dreams. For especially in youth, the dreams are so vitally important to where will I go with my life? But no matter what the chronology, it isn't to believe that if you set a date or a time or an age and you say, if I don't succeed by that time, I never will. That's a very cruel thing to do to yourself because there's always more. At 50, at 60, at 70, at 80. And now there are more and more who are actually living their dream at 90 or into the hundreds. Things are changing. You don't have to be limited by how many years you've been on the earth. You don't have to be limited by what the world says is the maximum of time that anyone has to fulfill a dream. Saturn, the world, Neptune, the other, are backing up, back into Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac, to spend the next 4 or 5 months changing your ideas, your limitations, your minimization of yourself, and calling you to expand. This grand trine in air is really a door opener to thinking differently. When you come to center, the body brain sits like a triune of energy, heart, soul, and body brain in the solar plexus. And part of the endings that are occurring is the thought of logic in the cranial brain, the thought of control, and all the limitations that come with it are going to begin to fade away. The logical mind has been an important aspect in this experience. And since the soul lives forever, from time to time, there's always a new experience to have. And the earth is coming to the end of an experience that has been around for eons of time. And it's opening the way to a higher frequency. So these changes, even Venus in Virgo, at the very beginning of the sign, says, how's your health? Do you feel well? Are you in alignment with being well? Or are you allowing the distractions of the outer world to pull you away from the most important person in your life, yourself? To feel, to actually experience. We spoke in the group earlier this day about feeling how it is to be inside, living inside, making choices inside your physical body. For you've lived outside of it for so long. The healing properties. The moon, emotional. The sun can bring the essence and energy to revitalize, to lift your spirit. And in the sign of Virgo, there is the purity, the cleansing, the clearing away of old things that you simply cannot carry any longer. Libra is the sign of balance. Libra calls you to seek harmony within yourself. Healing brings harmony, and harmony supports the healing process. It is now being revealed in the outer world that many diseases, and really consider that word, think about it, feel into it. It isn't just a sickness. It's a lack of ease with yourself. So when you are uneasy with yourself, there is a tendency to experience what the world calls disease. Many of the diseases that were very prevalent even in the beginning of the 20th century have been brought to a point of saying that they're virtually conquered here at the beginning of the 21st century. And now, 25 years later, there is a movement to do away with all of the methodology that has been discovered through hours of labor and hard work to protect people from global pandemic. Because it isn't just about the individual. Yes, what you think and the choices you make. If you feel within yourself that you don't want to, for instance, have a vaccine, to be vaccinated for COVID or smallpox or mumps, measles, and chicken pox, that's your choice. But to have one voice speak for all, I say you cannot have the immunizations that could bring you health. And that, beloved masters, is a global crisis. Each individual has the free will, the choice. But it is not for any one voice to tell the whole that they must now do without protection. So, dearly beloved masters, from a spiritual perspective, you are being called again and again and again in every area of life as you've known it. What will your choices be for your ongoing as the planet is moving into a whole new future, an unknown, without promises that things will be a certain way? Because, dearly beloved masters, promises have always been like attempting to carry your dream in a sieve. Because promises, some might even say on the earth plane, are made to be broken. Some people make a promise and they mean it. They mean it from the very depths of their soul. But there are many promises that are being made in these times. And the person may not necessarily have their fingers crossed behind their back, but in their mind, they know that what they are saying is not what they mean. That's why the coming to the inner self, the purification of that inner understanding, cleaning out all of the accumulated ideas, thoughts, opinions, judgments from lifetimes. Clean your basement. Clean your attic. And prepare to move forward with open spaces for new ideas, for a willingness to absolutely listen and hear the ideas of others. Listen and hear. Because, dearly beloved masters, in these times, gathering information is a vital force. It isn't about gathering information necessarily from TikTok, where, yes, you can have every opinion in the world, but it is to go to sources, not that you think will agree with you, but that you feel have truly researched and sought to understand. Read, 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 because the more you learn, the more ready you are for the changes. Looking at history, you see that much of what's happening today was going on in the United States during the time of the Civil War. And you can go back astrologically through time and find places where there were similar political scenes, wars. But this time, there's a new direction. This time, the messages are coming differently from the stars. This time, there is a greater intensity than ever for people to get their opinions heard. But are you listening to yourself? Are you feeling, really paying attention to what you feel? I feel angry. What is it about? I'm angry at them, but they are not altogether the problem. They are mirrored reflections. And you are put in a place which may now be very uncomfortable, where there are so many choices. You hardly catch a breath before there's another choice. And while you're mulling over that, there's another choice and another choice. And logic wants to sit and mull things over and chew on it and perhaps take a poll about what you should do. But the spirit will ask you to slow down, feel into yourself, feel. Don't think about feeling, feel. Take the time to get to know, after these many thousands of years, who am I today? Where do I desire this life to go? And really pay attention, because the world has set, I suppose, what you could call goals, things to prove that you've accomplished: a house, a car. That began around the time of the Second World War. when people had been in a bread line for quite some time and the war was over and there was a little bit more money and everything began to move toward being about making money. Not that that hadn't been a goal through lifetimes, but in the United States, which truly, beloved masters, in many ways has been a beacon to the world. It has been almost like a mother country when there was a problem, when there was an issue, anywhere in the world, they would come to the United States. Help us. And so help has been given, aid has been provided. And now there is an opportunity on the planet to have more financial potential than perhaps this planet has known before. And it is frequency. Yes, I said that. It is frequency. It isn't even electronic energy. It is frequency. The higher the frequency moves, the more income there's going to be. The greater your personal potential to prosper. And logic says, but look out at the world. And I suggest, dearly beloved masters, that it would be a wonderful idea to forgive spending so much time looking out at the world and begin to move within and connect with your inner resources. Money is the currency flow of God. It's the currency flow of the divine. It isn't even always about cash. Money can be your integrity, or rather, riches, wealth can be your integrity. It can be your honesty. It has, for ages, been your good name. So, dearly beloved masters, wealth is not something that you can buy. It certainly is not, according to divine law, something you can take, because divine law says if you take what is not yours, it still will never be yours. You may have it, you may hold it, you may say it's mine, but energetically, if it belongs to someone else and you took it away, then by divine law, it isn't yours. So, in the huge gathering and reaping on the planet, there are many that are gathering to themselves things that, in all integrity, aren't necessarily theirs. It may be a big way, it may be a small way. There are many, many scams that are going on the planet, and the computer-minded electronic geniuses that are constantly coming up with bigger, better scams have no idea what kind of karma they are setting for themselves. Because divine law is about doing unto others as you would have them do unto you, not necessarily what they're doing. So if someone takes advantage of you, if someone does something you do not like, when you find it within yourself, in your heart of hearts, in your integrity, to love them, no matter what. And logic says, yes, but look what they did. And divine law took into consideration that, yes, there would be those kinds of events that would always be involved with life, anywhere it was, any universe it's in. But when you can live by divine law within yourself, it isn't about making yourself vulnerable to danger, but forgiveness, dearly beloved masters, provides an extremely strong protection. Call on the white light. Call on the violet flame. Call on the light of Lord Michael. Those are ancient protections. They will hold you, they will protect you, and they will take you safely through dire experiences. Daniel in the lion's den. Let's talk about the master book. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. There have been miraculous times when human beings found themselves moving through dire experiences and coming out the other side untouched. So, as you let go of what do I do about the world, because that was never a part of your soul script to change the world. It was never even a paragraph in your soul script to make other people change. You are divine creative masters. You were given amazing gifts and tools by the divine to utilize when you are in challenging situations. Well, how do I know what they are? Investigate, learn, read. Don't just take at face value what one person says. I'm telling you this. Don't take at face value what I tell you. Apply it in your life. Live it. Don't dismiss it if you haven't put it into effect in your life. If you have followed the idea and found it just simply doesn't work for you, so be it. But don't deny something that you have no experience with. Well, they told me, but their experiences could be monumentally different from yours. They may have had terrible experiences. They may have had fantastic experiences. But dearly beloved masters, you will have your own personal, designed by your choices, experiences. It isn't just the choice you make in this moment, it's the choices you made today or last week or a year ago. Some things are so big, they're so timely that it may be things, choices you made in another lifetime. It all weaves together. Your choices and the choices of everyone you encounter, and the choices of those that you'll never know in this lifetime. But 8 billion souls are standing on this opening into a completely new experience. 8 billion choices. 8 billion ways of accomplishing or not, of being true to self or not, of loving or hating, of caring or denying. But it starts, dearly beloved masters, with you. This new moon in Virgo is an inner healing, creating a climate of well-being by where you put your focus, by where you allow your mind to go, by the choices you make in caring for yourself or saying, why should I bother? It doesn't matter. It does. It does matter. It matters very much. It matters to God, Goddess. It matters whether they know it or not to every soul on this planet. You matter to you. They matter to you. You cannot make them care about you, but you can care about yourself. And it isn't about taking 8 billion people and trying to deal with that in your mind. It's about taking one person at a time and feeling from your heart and soul the inner changes. How I love myself allows me to love so much more. How I love myself allows me to love many more. How I love myself can make a great life or a constant roller coaster of emotional drama. I could say, what do you want? How do you like it? And of course, the teachings have all been, I want the good stuff. I want the best. But are you willing to live it? Because it will come. It may not come as a whole assembled dream all in one piece. It may come a piece at a time, but when you're in touch with yourself living within, you recognize pieces of yourself you've left in other lifetimes, that it's time for them to be put back in place. You will recognize as you make your choices that the choice I make and the intentions behind it will bring the eventual outcome. I want a good life. I want to help people. Then practice by helping yourself. Practice by being there for you. You know the answers because if you went to someone else, you could tell them exactly what they should be doing. So stand before your mirror, look into your own eyes and say, I love you, and feel it. I love you. Look into your eyes. Don't look up at the ceiling, down at the floor, right or left. Look into your own eyes and feel from your own soul, I love you. Feel it. If you really let that in, you may get chills. If you let that in, you may get tears. Tears of sadness that you waited so long to let you in. Tears of joy that you finally have managed to Come home to yourself. But dearly beloved masters, as you connect deeply in love with you, it begins to send out vibrations of a deeper love into the world than perhaps you have shared in lifetimes. 8 billion people. Even if 51% of the people on this planet can move to being genuinely, honestly, not intellectually, but spiritually in love with yourself. And your love goes out to others. And it goes out to the Earth Mother. It goes out to the sick and the sad and the lonely and the war-torn. And it heals. They have a choice to accept the healing. You have a choice to accept the healing. But as you are willing to accept the healing, accept the goodness, accept the love, accept the belonging, accept I am indeed a divine, creative master. But it is not for me to design everyone else's world. It is for me to design such a wonderful world for myself that it will begin to change the worlds it touches around me. It's better to light just one little candle than to stumble in the darkness. But when you light that candle, someone else may come and light their candle from yours. And if you light one other candle, then the light of your candle is worthy. Even if someone doesn't come and light their candle from yours, the fact that you have created light for yourself is worthy. The world, outer world, says you're only important if what you create is a really big deal. And yet every day there are millions of people that are creating little miracles. They go unnoticed. They go dismissed. But dearly beloved masters, they are important to the whole. You are one vitally important part of the whole. But it is really important for every cell of the body to be as healthy, as happy, as prosperous as they are willing to be. And that is the key. I want it doesn't mean you'll allow it. I need it builds walls against it. I desire from the Lord God of my being to create a life according to the highest good for all concerned. And yes, I put myself at the forefront, not because of greed, but because if I don't understand how good the good feels, then I cannot, in truth, delight as much as I can by sharing that with others. Be good to yourself. Make your choices to share that good with others. Receive good when it is shared with you instead of saying, oh, no, 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 I don't need that. Receive. Receive as graciously as you give. Let them bless your life also, instead of just being the one to bless theirs. So, dearly beloved masters, the movement in the heavens is getting more and more powerful moment by moment. Every lunar cycle, full moon, new moon, full moon, is bringing you further along the path of new becoming. It's up spiraling into higher consciousness. So, dearly beloved masters, it is vitally important that you participate in your own life. Living your life for others denies you the fullness of the experience that God created you to have. Living impoverished is a choice. It's a choice to deny the good when it comes. It can be a choice to be afraid to walk to the edge of your comfort zone and take another step. It can be any choice that denies you the grand potential that the divine intended for each and every soul on this planet. So, dearly beloved masters, start with your mirror. I love you. And then take that feeling into your day. And no matter where in the world you go, make sure that candle stays lighted. Because you may find that many are suffering in their own darkness because they don't believe they even deserve one candle. And so, beloved masters, until we meet again, and surely we will, in the greatest of the love that I carry to share, I hold you. So may it ever be.